What's good, Unc?
Hello, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You're a bit.
Yeah, my phone is charging. Sorry about that.
That's
Sorry about
okay,
that.
that's okay. Are you religious,
How's your
spiritual?
day?
Yeah, it's been good.
Oh, no, I'm not. Are you here to teach me?
No, I'm going to ask you questions and then obviously discuss ideas.
I bet. Bet. Go ahead.
So you believe in God?
No.
What's your alternative theory?
Alternative theory to God.
Mm.
Uh, uh, like, what do you mean? In what sense?
Okay, so you look at a painting and I say there's a painter and you say there's no painter.
Uh-huh.
So how did the
Oh, okay.
painting
So,
come
like,
about?
the creator. Like a
Exactly,
creator kind of thing.
exactly. So I'm saying
I
there's
think
a
that it's
creator. If you say there's no creator, what's your alternative?
alternative to there not being a creator is that for now we just don't understand. We just can't understand.
So you're avoiding
It's a
the question then?
science. No. I'm not avoiding the question. No. I'm just saying that it's something caused all this. Obviously, we can agree on that. There's something that caused this, right? But the thing that caused it, we don't understand yet, and so
There's,
I don't
there's a
have an
difference
answer.
between knowing something and understanding something,
Absolutely.
right? So you're willing to concede that there is something, but we don't understand
Hmm.
it. We would say
Yeah.
the same thing. You cannot
Yeah.
understand God.
Except I don't believe in the attributes that are given to what religion
Islam,
are you?
Islam.
Okay, I see. I do not believe the attributes that are given to Allah. I do not believe the stories of the prophets and all these other things that are written in the Quran. That's where I disagree with you. But however, it is something that we do not understand. That I completely agree with.
Okay, so on what basis would you say you disagree with the stories in the Quran? Do you believe there's a better
Well,
version, or you believe you just don't have enough evidence to accept them?
yeah, I just don't have enough evidence to accept them.
Okay.
I just see the thing is, I think that. So I'll tell you what I think religion stems from. All right, so religion stems from this want, of course, which is completely natural, to understand what's going on around us, right? But then it has been manipulated, it has been tailored, it has been used as a tool by power, especially back, back, thousands of years ago. Um, it has been used by power to manipulate, to control the society that they had, because you know, back then when there wasn't much education and there wasn't much science, science developments, well, that was
Okay,
the only
so the
answer, and it was,
side effects that you're
yeah,
talking about, I'm happy to accept them. My
yeah,
question still goes back to the origins of it. So I'm sitting there
oh
in
yeah,
an
yeah,
empty
sorry,
room looking at a painting, and I say
hmm
there's a painter, and I'm
hmm
deducing some attributes of the painter from the painting itself.
yeah,
And I think you would agree on those ones, but there might be some other attributes where you may disagree because you don't see the evidence for those attributes. Now, in terms
hmm
of other people sort of taking advantage or utilizing it to their advantage,
hmm
that will happen regardless.
yeah,
It's like you could
of
argue a
course,
mother is not looking after a child because she's just a good mother, and maybe you say, well, she's waiting for him to grow up and pay her
of
back or
course,
whatever. So you can
yeah, of
always
course,
create
but
ulterior motives.
but it but then it just becomes muddled, and you can't really tell what is manipulation and what is to be true.
Right.
It's
Do
there's
you
been
believe you exist?
but yeah, I believe I exist. Yes,
Okay. Which has more right to exist, you or your maker?
you're my maker. Like, well, see, I don't think that there is. So what when you say maker, you mean like painter?
So what preceded you? What has more right to exist? You, the secondary, or the primary that preceded you?
I think we all have probably equal right to exist. Yeah, that's it.
I would say, I mean, for example, if somebody said you have a ground floor and first floor, you could have the
Yeah,
ground floor without the first floor, but you couldn't have the first floor without the ground floor because it would collapse.
I mean,
So, in other words,
yeah,
your
you can't.
parents could exist without you, but you wouldn't exist without your parents, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So okay. So on that basis, you're happy to accept that somebody caused your existence.
Well, I'm not saying I don't think. Well, if you go back far enough, I don't know if there's somebody.
Something, some power, some whatever.
Sure, something, not someone,
Okay.
something.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Can that something communicate with us?
It might. I mean, see. So I have thought about, because I grew up in France, south of France, and it's very big Islamic region where I grew up,
Okay.
and I was welcomed by the community, and I have thought about converting, and so I was talking to people about what they how they were able to believe, because sacrificing all this stuff that I need to sacrifice, that I'm okay with, but it's just believing that I have trouble getting past. And what they told me is that um, whenever they were in tough times, they could feel someone carry them, help them, So I think that's a form of communicating that you're referring to. Now,
my reference was
yeah,
you and
yeah,
I can communicate, right?
yeah.
So the one who gave us the ability to communicate, surely that one also can communicate with us.
Well, I mean, really, evolution gave us the ability to communicate.
No, I don't mean it like that. Because for us, we attribute everything we have to that energy, that force, that being that brought us into existence. And we being the result of that being, if we can intercommunicate between ourselves, and that thing gave us that ability, then surely that thing also has the ability to communicate with us. It can't be less than us. Do you see?
Why not?
So the point I'm making is that essence
Why
is...
can it be less than us?
Well, you can't give what you don't have. So the creator can't create us with the ability to communicate, and the creator itself lacks the ability to communicate.
Why not? Because through evolution, we evolved from old species. We used to be single form cells. That was our entire existence.
I think my
and then
view...
we evolved. So
sorry, just
single
to
form cells
correct you.
couldn't communicate.
Just to correct you. Evolution requires driving force and pre-existing materials. And so to say that...
not at the start.
Well, it requires...
There have been experiments made that if there's enough H2O and then lightning.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
Then,
That's what I'm saying. So prerequisites are there, and we can't explain the prerequisites.
Yeah.
And also the forces that drive these things to go complex. There is an element of design, because you can't go more complex without some factor of or power or something making it happen.
Well, if you have an unlimited amount of time, you can. You have an infinite amount of time.
Well, again, I think people who have faith are probably better off than people who have faith in time. Because if you sat there for 1 billion years, you might, become something. It's just playing with...
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, you're playing with... Because your mind can't comprehend unlimited time, your mind sort of concedes and says maybe it could happen. Right?
Well, I mean, that's what unlimited time is, though.
No, I know, I understand, but I'm of the opinion that if I leave my room untidy for 1 year, 5 year, 20 year, 100 years, without there being a constructive force to make it tidy, it will never get tidy. Things always go towards chaos, not towards order, if there was no agent to make the order.
Okay, but that's a perception of order. That's your perception of order.
So you don't see order when you look around you?
I mean, like, the thing is that I think, right, that there's no creator. That's what I think. I just think that it's just complete impartial. It doesn't matter to them, to what happened. Order and chaos don't exist. Like, it's just random chances that we ended up here.
Okay, I think I mean
the way
I would rebut you is you're saying sort of things can happen, but I would say
anything that can happen will happen.
Possibly, but this is my belief, right? I believe that
Yeah.
there's a lot of things around us that point to intelligent design. And not only that, that intelligent design has communicated with us, has given us prophets and messages, scripture. Now, the final of those is the Quran. Have you read the Quran?
Yeah. No. No.
You haven't.
I know. No.
Yeah. So clearquran.com has a PDF you can just simply download and read. Now.
Okay.
I believe that if you were to read the Quran and consider the contents of it, God makes all the arguments that are required to convince humanity that the author is the creator, and as to why we're here, what our purpose in life is, all these things are answered. I think it's kind of, people who say it just all happened by chance are, I don't want to say dishonest, but they're sort of pinning their hoping there's, it's like somebody took your laptop and instead of admitting that it's been stolen, you say, well, it's got to be somewhere, but I don't know where, kind of thing. Maybe the wind blew it out the window. Maybe you're sort of speculating on things that didn't happen, couldn't happen, but you're thinking there's this remote possibility it could happen. Whereas the obvious is somebody took it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's not so obvious that, if someone stole your laptop, it's not as obvious as there being a God,
Well, I mean, the analogy there is that in the case of laptop, something was there and is not there. In the case of God and creation, something wasn't there and is there.
Right? Okay. And so, but the thing is, I can't believe in God because it's you'd agree it's an unfair world, right?
I wouldn't say it's an unfair world. I think it's more fairer than we give it.
You think it's fairer?
I think it's fair. I mean, in the last 60, 70 years, humanity has reached levels where I think it's, I'm surprised we lasted this long.
Okay, so before those 60, 70 years, it wasn't fair. Well,
no, I mean, obviously we have ups and downs, definitely.
Okay, but how do you think it's fair today?
Okay, when you say fair, do you mean like distribution of resources? Do you mean, what do you mean?
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's a person, I think it's fair. I think that an all-loving God, right, would look down at its creations that he loves or that God loves, and would make it fair to every.
Okay, give me an example of your vision of fair, and then I could probably
millions
comment on that.
Millions of people not dying of hunger. Millions of people not dying of hunger. Hundreds of millions of people not dying of hunger.
Okay, I wouldn't say hundreds of millions, but I would accept that there's a large number of people who have food insecurities. Now, we don't regard food insecurity as being a determinant factor in whether there is a God or not. Because essentially your argument is God should have intervened and saved these people, right? So whether it's food insecurity or a madman goes into a shopping center and tries to kill people, and then
or God just should have.
No, but your argument would be God should have intervened and stopped that gunman from shooting people.
Not necessarily that God should have just not given that drive to kill other innocent people.
I mean, regardless of how it's prevented, whether it's sort of software-based or physical interruption. So I think this relates to what we call question of evil. As in, there can't be a God because evil exists, and God should have somehow intervened or interfered or modified.
Well, not somehow. I mean, he's the creator of everything. I feel like he could do. God could do it pretty easily.
If you go for a multiple choice test, the person who's created the test has deliberately put 3 or 4 incorrect answers and 1 correct answer.
Yeah.
And so while you're doing the test, it may seem unfair that they've basically riddled the whole place with incorrect answers and you're being sort of forced to find the right answers. So in Islam, our view is that life is a test, and God will put different obstacles in your way. Sometimes it will be people, sometimes it will be other things. And God, so for example, let's say something happened and I don't know, 100 people died. From an Islamic perspective, we're not seeing that as a good thing or a bad thing, because we're all going to die.
Yeah.
So then your argument becomes they've died prior to their time, right? And so, you know, you would say this person is evil because they have killed 100 people.
Yeah.
From our perspective, the person who did the killing obviously adopts the sin or the, you know, the crime. The people who have passed, from our paradigm is that was their time to go, and they've gone. So objectively, it's not a good thing or a bad thing.
Okay, I see. So everyone has a destiny.
Not even just destiny. It's like you had a multiple choice
Everyone's
test.
destined to go.
Somebody's got 40 questions. Somebody has 30 questions. Somebody has 20 questions. From our paradigm, long as the questions you are presented with, you've answered them correctly, you will succeed. So again, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
Okay, I see. So my 3-year-old child dies from leukemia, and I thank God. That's what you're telling me?
Okay, in Islam, we thank God for everything. Even if God gave you a millisecond of life, that is still warranted gratitude. No, I understand. I'm making my point. I'm making my point.
Yeah.
So if a child dies because of a disease that we've not learned to deal with or provide remedy or medication for, etc. Now, you may argue that a child dying is inherently negative and bad. It shouldn't happen. Right?
You think it should? A child should
I
die?
would not say it should or it shouldn't. I would say that rests with the Creator to determine, because like I said, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
Okay.
Right.
So you basically give all your trust and all your faith and everything that you know. You trust it completely with God, basically.
When you say trust, I mean
trust.
Again, I think you're conflating two things. You're saying I can see the justice and I can see the fairness in this 3-year-old passing.
No. Because you are not holding an opinion. You're holding the opinion of God, right?
I have an opinion, and I'm trying to explain that from our perspective, certain things seems wrong, right? But it doesn't necessarily need to be wrong. I'll give you an example, maybe a story that can explain a little bit. So this Chinese emperor, he didn't have any children, and so he sent his men to the town to get 5 boys aged between 11 and 15. So they went. They said, "Look, the emperor wants this and that." So they picked up 5 guys from the high street, if you like. They took them back to the palace, and the king gave them a plant seed each, and said, "I want you to look after this, plant it, grow it for a year, and then we will meet each other again in a year's time." So one of the 5, let's just call him Ahmed, goes home excited, tells his mother, "Hey, listen, I met the king. I was at the palace. He's given me this seed. We got to look after it." They put it in a pot. They water it, etc., etc. 3 weeks passes, no plants, nothing growing. 5 weeks, nothing growing. But they hear the other kids, their plants are growing and flowering and all the rest of it. Anyway, long story short, a year passes, and the king sends his men to collect these 5 boys. Muhammad refuses to go because he sees himself as a failure. His plant never grew, etc., etc. But the king said, "Look, you must come." So now the king has 5 boys, 4 pots with plants in it growing, 1 with no plant. So the king then says, exactly a year ago, I boiled 5 seeds for 2 hours, and I gave each one of you a seed, knowing that it will never grow because I have destroyed it. And here we are. I have 4 dishonest people in front of me who decided to switch the seeds when they realized it wasn't growing. And I only have 1 decent, principled kid. Notwithstanding all the difficulties and, negativity, he decided to stay pure and not switch the seed. And so I want my replacement to be someone who is honest and isn't going to cut corners, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Now, for that child, he thought he was a failure. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes God has plans for us. God has a test for us.
Okay.
and we may not see the fuller picture. And sometimes
of course.
for you to achieve certain things, you have to be shown certain other things. So for example, let's say you as a child, I don't know, something happened. You see that as negative, but maybe that motivated you to find a solution for a problem that otherwise you wouldn't have even, you would lack the motivation for.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm not justifying everything. What I'm saying is there are different perspectives, and God balances the books. So nobody's wronged and without a balance. And I think this is one of our arguments for afterlife, that there has to be an afterlife if there is a God. Because otherwise there are some injustices and imbalances and unfairness that goes unaddressed if there isn't an afterlife.
Of course, but you do realize that seeds are a little different from children dying of cancer.
Okay, dying in general, you may view that as being negative. I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying,
you do realize that seeds and dying, a 3-year-old dying of leukemia is a little different.
What's the difference between a 3-year-old and a 30-year-old dying? Would you say 30-year-old has lived their lives?
No, I lived a longer life than a 3-year-old, yes.
So we could argue with your logic that people dying at 100, should have lived to 200, and so 100 is too short.
No, you can't live to 200. But you do realize that seeds and a child dying of leukemia are different, right?
Right. So are you talking about the suffering,
so you can't
or are you talking about this in terms of dying as a general principle?
No, you just told the stories. I brought up a 3-year-old dying from leukemia, and you just told the story about someone boiling seeds. And someone trying to find the honest person.
The reason I gave that story is sometimes when you're within the story itself, when you're taking it in sort of when you're zoomed in too much, you fail to see the bigger picture.